Hey guys, my name is Jordan Lee. Last semester in my Computer Science 1 course, my professor tasked me and some other students to create a program in C++ together. The resulting program is what me and those students came up with, and I'm going to share it with you. The program is a shopping catalog that records your total, as well as your items that you added to your shopping cart, and at the end, it will calculate your total amount with the tax added as well. Let me show you. So I want 2 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of shirts, and 3 jackets. And typing 5 to check out will calculate your entire total and show you exactly how much you had purchased. Alright, let me show you how I did this. Alright, so to start, I included 2 libraries here, IOStream and IOMNIP. I learned in Computer Science 1 that IOStream is used for input and output like SIN and SOUT, which are super important for interacting with the user. IOMNIP helps format output, like making numbers show up with certain numbers of decimal places. And I also included using namespace std because it just lets me avoid typing std before things like SOUT and SIN. It's not mandatory, but it just makes my code easier to read and it's a little bit cleaner. Here I just declared some constants and arrays. The tax rate is a constant 0.07, which is 7%, and I use it later to calculate the tax. I also created arrays, prices, and items that store the prices and the names of the items in the catalog. I learned in Computer Science 1 that using arrays is a great way to store multiple related values, and they're really handy when you need to loop through data. Alright, this is a function called display catalog, and I learned how to write functions in Computer Science 1 because they let me group related code into reusable chunks. Here the function displays all of the items and their prices in the catalog. I used a for loop to go through the arrays, items, and prices. The fixed and set position 2 format the prices to 2 decimal places, which makes it just look a little bit more nice and professional. And later I'll show the option how to check out. This is another function called calculate total with tax. It takes a total as input and calculates the total cost with tax added. Functions with return values like this one are really useful because I can use them in different parts of my code. I also learned how to use constants like tax rate here instead of hard coding the tax value, so it's easier to update later. Now the main function is where everything starts. I declared some variables here. Choice for the user's input, cart as an array to keep track of how many of each item the user buys, and total to store the running total costs. In Computer Science 1, I learned about initializing variables and using arrays to organize data, and both are really helpful here. Over here is just a simple welcome message, and it's just always good to keep your program user-friendly, and clear messages like this help a lot. This while loop is the main part of the program where the user interacts with the catalog. I call display catalog inside the loop so it shows the options every single time. Then I prompt the user to enter their choice using SIN, which I learned is how you get input from the user in C++. If the user enters 5, that means they'll want to check out, so I use a break to exit the loop. And I learned in Computer Science 1 that break immediately stops a loop, which is really useful in situations like this. Alright, and here's where the program handles valid and invalid inputs. If the user chooses a valid item number, I'll ask them how many do they want to add. I learned to use if statements to handle different conditions like this. If the quantity is valid, I update the cart array and the total cost. Otherwise, I'll display another error message. If the input isn't valid at all, there's another else block to handle that. Okay. And after the user checks out, this code prints a summary of what they bought. I loop through the cart array and show only items where the quantity is greater than 0. Formatting again makes the output look a little bit more clean. Next, I calculate and display the subtotal, the tax, and the final total. And this is where I use the calculate total with tax function I made earlier. I also subtract the total from the total with tax to show just the tax amount. Using functions like this keep the code a little bit more modular and easier to manage for me. All right. Finally, I thank the user and I return to 0 to end the program. In computer science 1, I learned that returning 0 from main tells the operating system that the program ran successfully, which is a small detail, but it's super important.